What's up, YouTube?
The best part of all of that is you froze so hard on my screen when they started recording. You froze. So I see you looking like this. like just staying very still, just and then I hear, "What's up, YouTube?" Just you like
Well, that's the thumbnail now for this episode. Absolutely. Is me frozen. And then the thumbnail will just, in that big stupid YouTube font, say, "What's up, YouTube?" Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Alec.
And I'm Dave.
Welcome to the inaugural.
Fuck
me. The inaugural.
It's going so well.
I love it. The inaugural episode of Alec and Dave Talk About Shit. Working title for sure. So what's up, Dave?
For the other three people who are gonna watch this.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're trying to come up with a better title. It might be called.
I'm actively trying.
I'm thinking about it in the back of my head. I'm letting it marinate in my subconscious that a better title should come at some point. Possibly a podcast for Alec and Dave's wives to listen to when they feel like it.
When we know our wives haven't listened to it because we still have 0 views.
Yeah. And we're like, yeah, that's always in our back pocket.
They don't love us.
In any argument from now on. Like, you've really been slacking on taking out the trash. Well, you don't even listen to my podcast. You don't even listen to the podcast. What's wrong with our marriage? You don't want to listen. We don't
spend enough time together.
You don't want to listen to me and my best friend ramble for an hour and a half about a thing that we saw? Well, so this podcast, our general idea is just, we want to talk about stuff that we like. We're both huge nerds, huge movie nerds. We see like most everything, or at least we used to together every single time something new came out when we lived together. Now that we're not living together, we try our best to see almost everything we can. And yeah, we just love talking about stuff and recommending stuff to each other. So, Dave, do you have anything that you wanted to talk about before we get into, I think, the main segment of what we wanted to talk about, which is that we both saw Sinners like 3 weeks ago when it came out. We're finally getting to talk about it today.
Hashtag save for the podcast.
Yes.
Okay. So I did see The Accountant 2 recently, which solid B action movie.
Okay.
Right? I mean, have you seen The Accountant 1?
No, I have no familiarity with this franchise except for I can see Ben Affleck on the poster in my mind.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
And Ben Affleck plays somebody who has autism, who's like this super genius, who also can has been trained to kill everyone, right? Like basic premise.
Okay. Trained autistic killer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Genius. Genius accountant.
I think I'm in. I don't.
It's fun. Totally it's on Max. It's a fun watch.
Okay.
It's a fun watch. But okay, so I don't want to spoil The Accountant 1 for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the negatives I had with The Accountant 1 were fixed with The Accountant 2.
Okay.
Which is basically, so it's Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal. And Ben Affleck is the more interesting character, but he's not super fun hang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When Jon Bernthal is a super fun hang, right? He's cracking jokes and he's drinking beer. He's doing all this stuff.
Is John Bernthal also autistic in this?
No.
Or is he? Yeah. Okay. So this isn't a commentary on like these are the two types of autistic people. You know?
No.
Okay.
And so for this one, there's a lot more John Bernthal and Ben Affleck's characters like hanging out, which for me was like made The Accountant 2 more fun than The Accountant.
They made it into a less of a, because it kind of sounds, correct me if I'm wrong here, The Accountant 1, it kind of sounds like it fits into that realm of movies like the sort of John Wick or like Jackie Chan's The Foreigner, or just one of those like there's a guy who's gonna go and kill everyone who needs to like get revenge, kind of maybe for a thing. Taken, like a Taken style movie.
But you're naming movies that are all much better than The Accountant 1.
Okay.
So like, do not. So no. Like you're naming. You just named A movies. This is like a B-. It passed, but like it's not gonna blow your mind. Like you're not gonna walk out of The Accountant and call me and be like, "Dude, it was awesome." Right. You're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I did see it. It was I had fun."
Right.
Like I enjoyed myself.
Unlike some of our favorite Ben Affleck movies, where we have absolutely been like, "Dude," such as Armageddon, of course.
Speaking of which, speaking of the thing that we should talk about, have you seen Ben Affleck in the Criterion Closet?
No. Oh my God, when did this happen?
In the last week, and it is absolute cinema. And I think you need to watch it, and then we need to devote an episode to it.
Just that, okay.
Just that.
I'm in.
Like, but we need to both talk about it, and you need to see that before we do.
Okay. All right. I'm so excited for this. For anyone who has not seen one of our favorite pieces of content on the entire internet, who has not at least heard or seen a clip of Ben Affleck on the commentary track for the movie Armageddon, talking about Armageddon. It's
the best. It might be my favorite movie.
That not Armageddon, but the commentary track.
But the commentary track.
I mean, look, I also love Armageddon. I was like 12.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even 12 when Armageddon came out. I was younger than that, but I cried at the end of Armageddon, and I continue to cry at the end of Armageddon.
I was about to say, I still cry. I still cry every time I watch Armageddon.
Every time, and
every time I get sick, I watch Armageddon and I cry every time.
You cannot tell me that Bruce Willis saying goodbye to Liv Tyler is not a thing that's going to make you cry. Or if that doesn't hit you, Bruce Willis pushing Ben Affleck back onto the ship so that he can sacrifice himself. One of those
You're just not a human being. If that doesn't get to you, you're just not a human being.
Yeah. And stop listening to this podcast.
You can go ahead and leave.
We can leave. You're not the audience. We've weeded you out early. We're 8 minutes in. You can leave now.
We don't want to talk to you.
No, this is not for your ears, you know. But the best thing, basically, go. If you don't like Armageddon, maybe especially if you don't like Armageddon, go listen to Ben Affleck's commentary track.
I don't think the thing is that I don't think Ben Affleck, when he did that commentary, he certainly did not like Armageddon.
Definitely. Which
I think he has warm feelings about all of that now, 20 years later. But when he was doing this commentary, he did not like that movie.
I think you're 100% correct, and it makes sense. I mean, at that time, he had what's Armageddon? Is it like 98, 97, something like that?
I was gonna guess 9. No, it's 90. It's 98 because I remember getting mad at a 99 list for not having Armageddon, and then I looked up the actual date. It was 98. But I remember
That's
actively
the
being
most you
so
thing.
pissed off.
The most you thing to be mad about. I mean, yeah. So it's okay. So it's 98. I mean, at that point, he was starting the action star thing. But this definitely was one of the first things, I think, in his career, if I'm not mistaken, that was like, because he'd done like some Kevin Smith stuff, and then he did, I think, Good Will Hunting is 97. So it's like he's literally just won an Oscar. And now,
this was his first movie after Good Will Hunting, I'm pretty sure.
I think that's correct. And so it makes sense that he would like be an Oscar-winning writer, like, or maybe about to win an Oscar. And knowing that he just created like a masterpiece on the set with Michael Bay being like, dude, your script sucks. Like,
this
what are we doing?
Fucking stupid. Like,
and
why
Michael
are we doing
Bay
this?
being like, shut the fuck up, Ben Affleck.
I'm 100%. That's exactly that is basically how he tells the story. So
Yeah. Anyway, we've gotten off. Okay, so Accountant 2. That's your you would recommend Accountant 2, and maybe Accountant 1.
It's a fun watch.
It's a fun. Okay, they're both good.
If you're gonna watch the Accountant 2, start with the Accountant 1. Yeah. It's an hour and a half of your time. You're gonna have fun, but then you're gonna watch Accountant 2, and I think you're gonna be like, this was more fun.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm into, I love a good B action movie, as you know.
Yeah.
So I just moved to Austin, Texas, so I've been crazy busy. I haven't really seen anything except that I did go to the movie theater this past week with my wife, who loves Bjork. And we saw the new, there's a Bjork concert film called Cornucopia that is out now. It was like a limited time event, so we went and saw that. And I'm not yucking my wife's yum here. She also did not like this very much, but unfortunately, I think we can both say not the best concert film. So I don't think I would recommend this to you. I just have nothing else that I can even possibly recommend, because we've been not watching anything and not going to see any movies. Because we've just been unpacking and like looking for a car and hooking up washer dryers and all that kind of fun adult stuff that you have to do when you move. But I would say the only thing I want to say about this is I have such respect for Bjork as an artist. I've never really been into Bjork. Bjork has a 30-year career of doing whatever Bjork wants to do and just maintaining a like fierce audience. As my wife said before we got there, she was like, the girlies and the gays are going to come out for Bjork. You just wait. And like, she was right. Like there's a fierce audience of people who love Bjork as an artist and will like follow her along. And you gotta respect that. But as someone who had no idea of like any of the lore, any of the previous albums, any idea of what's like going on in Bjork's personal life, I was lost for an hour and a half and just so deeply confused by everything that was happening on screen. I didn't understand why there were so many mushrooms. I didn't understand why her lyrics had the words orifice in it, like so much. Like there's a lot of talk about orifices.
That's what the girlies and the gays want. That's what they want to talk about. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the guys maybe too. It's hard to say, but definitely the girlies and the gays want to hear about the orifices. But yeah, there was just, and really the worst thing to me actually was that there were subtitles on the screen the entire time, which was very distracting because I could have maybe gotten lost in like the cool visual elements or just watched this crazy like sextet of flute players that were on stage the entire time giving a pretty incredible flute performance. But instead I was just distracted by the lyrical content of these songs. And yeah, it is weird when like you are like, man, that's a crazy cool like instrument that guy's playing as percussion. That's just like a whole bunch of overturned bowls in a box of water that he's just like making cool rhythms on. and then underneath it is the subtitle like oral, anal, orifice, and you're like, I'm out of it now. I can't
I'm
enjoy
so
this.
curious because I don't know if I'm just like missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Missed this
yeah,
concert.
it
It
doesn't. I
was.
mean, I don't know when you went, but like there are no showings in Chicago right now.
It was a limited time thing. It came out
Oh,
it was like Wednesday or something that we went this past
oh, and it was
week.
like only on Wednesday.
I think so. It was like a couple
Okay,
nights maybe that you could go see this concert film. But yeah, I would say even if you were someone who was listening to this who loves Bjork, she has better concert films, according to my wife, who is a huge Bjork fan. And yeah, the major issue is just that a lot of the music was from her album Utopia. So if you like Utopia as an album, great, good for you, go see this. But neither of us do. So it was just sort of a lot. It was a lot for about an hour and a half. But major respect to that very strange Icelandic woman for just making such an incredible career out of being a strange Icelandic woman. Yeah, but yeah, not a recommend from me. So I didn't want to start this on a negative note. Now I'm going to feel like the negative guy. You're like, here's the accountant. It's fun. And I'm like, don't see Bjork's concert.
well, wait, have you seen Thunderbolts yet?
No. That's my next.
Okay.
Like, I want to go see it in the theater.
It's fun. It is a it might be my favorite MCU movie since Endgame.
That's
Not
not a high bar. That's not a high bar. Not at all. Not at all. What's been, I mean, okay, I kind of liked the WandaVision sequel Doctor Strange movie. And
yes, but that had some real, like, we walked away from that movie going like, that was fun.
mm-hmm.
Real issues.
Yeah.
Like really bad aspects of storytelling to that movie.
Oh, it was all.
I just walked away from this going, that was fun. I like that. That was both fun. It set up all of these new characters to kind of like really come into the MCU, and it like paved a way forward with all of these characters. And I just walked away going like, they finally did it. Like they finally had a fun movie that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't had that in, because like I will say the Doctor Strange sequel was fun, didn't make sense.
No. And it was fun primarily because they kind of just let Sam Raimi do weird Sam Raimi stuff.
Yeah, and like make it like kind of like a horror movie sometimes. Yeah.
And make Doctor Strange into a Deadite, and that was sick. And besides that, I don't have anything that positive to say
and
about
then
it, actually.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or 3, we were 3. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was a fully functional movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not fun.
No.
Not that I'm never gonna rewatch it. I did not have fun watching it. I have a dog. I love her to death. Not at all fun.
No. And that's one of those weird things where it's like, I like James Gunn. I'm excited to see where he takes the DCU. I don't know. Like, you can't, after a bunch of animal torture scenes, be like, why don't we play some Florence and the Machine on the way out and have everybody dance and try and make you think this was a happy film? Like, no, there was way too much animal torture in this. Yeah. We could have cut some of that down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've like, it's just one of those things where like you need one scene for us all, for everyone to go, oh yeah, they suck. Like these are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And instead they were like, let's have this for a half hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are we still here?
It's insane. Literally all you have to do to make me hate a guy is just to have like a dog bark and then he goes like, shut up or something to the dog. And I'm like, fuck that guy. He's the villain of this movie. Like that would be fine. He doesn't have to torture the dog for a half hour. Oh God.
But even like he tortured the dog in another room for 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great setup for me to hate someone.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
There's and instead he was like, let's draw this out. Like,
yeah. Strange decisions. Strange decisions by James Gunn on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I agree. Overall, it's like, that's not a movie I'm going to revisit. I am so excited to hear Thunderbolts is actually like a fun MCU movie. It's such a relief because, like, if they didn't get that movie right, I can't imagine ever having faith in a single other MCU project, like, ever again.
Yeah.
And we already had very, very dwindling faith in the MCU projects, but, like, if you can't take Florence Pugh, star, who has a character who has showed up in other stuff and stolen every scene that she was in every other film, and do a, like, Suicide Squad-esque, just, here's a bunch of, like, underpowered people going against an overpowered opponent, you know, underdog story, and make that work with that cast. I don't know, like, how anyone should be able to do that, you know, and make it work. Like, anyone with any amount of competence.
Because it's like, it's Florence Pugh, it's David Harbour, and it's Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
All being super charismatic, super funny. Like, just those three being great. Because, like, there's a point at the beginning where it's Florence Pugh and it's the bad Captain America. You know who I'm talking about?
I don't want to say Anthony Mackie. So who was?
No, not him.
Not him. I don't want to insult Anthony Mackie's performance as Captain America.
Wyatt
Do you
Russell.
mean the evil? Oh,
Wyatt Russell.
Yes,
Wyatt Russell.
Another actor I genuinely like a lot. So, but I don't know. He doesn't have the charisma.
I'm not sure he's right for this role. Like, but no, like, he's fine. He's fine. And a new character that I don't, as like a comic book nerd, I don't really have much of a relationship with Ghost. Who's played by, like, Olga Kurylenko, who I also don't know.
I do like. Well, she actually, that's interesting. She played. Now I feel like this is going to be spoilers. She played Taskmaster, I think, in the Black Widow movie, if I'm not mistaken.
She was in the Black Widow movie.
She was a Bond girl in, like, one of the worst, Quantum of Solace. I think she was a Bond girl in that. And she is fine as a, like, in whatever it was, 2007 or 2006 when Quantum of Solace came out. Me as a teenager was like, Olga Kurylenko is my new crush. She's hot. And, like, that's all I have to say about Olga Kurylenko as an actress. I am sure she is pretty good, but I don't,
she's pretty good. But before David Russell really, like, enters the group, it can drag a little bit at the beginning.
David Harbour.
That is my only negative. David Harbour. Thank you. David Harbour. Yeah.
Okay. So that's good to know.
Movie, excited to talk with you about it once you've actually seen it.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Absolutely. Well, with that, should we move to the main segment of this podcast, which we also don't have a name for except for main segment.
I'm so excited to talk with you about Sinners.
I'm so excited.
Yo,
I have so much to say.
Anybody, all of our 5 listeners, if you don't want Sinners spoiled for you,
presuming 5 more people than exist, Stephen.
Shut the fuck, like, get the fuck out. This is gonna be a spoiler conversation, y'all. We're gonna talk about the whole movie. We're gonna talk about everything that happens. If you don't like it, bye.
Yeah,
okay.
No, this is not a spoiler-free review territory for anybody. Because honestly, who reads reviews before you're going to see the movie anymore? Does anybody do that?
Just go see the movie. Go see the movie.
I've never once done that in the past, like, 15 years. I see a movie and then I read a review to see if people who I know and respect agree with me or not, and, like, to see what their perspective on it is, so I can think more about the movie in a way that's either fun or just, like, just affirms my biases, and I'm like, hell yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
You know?
So overall, Alec, what'd you think? Because you've been kind of cryptic via text message on this one.
I'm just gonna be the negative guy. I feel like on this episode, the first episode, people are gonna be like, here's Dave who's fun and likes stuff, and Alec who's kind of a dick. But I thought, but I give Sinners like a B. I think I would give it maybe like a B to a B minus. Like it's been 3 weeks or more since we've actually seen the movie, but I had more issues with Sinners than I've heard other people really talk about.
Okay. All right. So let's start with the negative. Let's just start.
Do you
want to
start? Okay. I wanted to start.
I have a couple of things,
but yes, yeah.
No, I want to end positive.
Okay.
Because I have much more positive to say than negative.
I think that's probably the case for me too. Still, because a B is still good for me. It's not like I'm saying like don't watch Sinners.
No, this isn't Sinners. Sinners is not to me a 5-star movie.
Okay. All right.
It's not.
That's good.
It's not perfect.
That's good. We're both in agreement then on that small aspect.
I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you probably just think it's good.
I think that's where we're at. Yeah. Like ultimately.
Yeah. Okay.
Ultimately, it's like it sounds like I'm maybe like B minus, and you're like a B plus to A minus situation.
Yes, that is exactly like okay. I would give this a 4 stars, and you would probably give it 3.5.
Yeah, roughly. I'd say 3.
Yeah,
I'd say I'd go 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my number one complaint about this movie, and we've had it before on other movies, was the trailer.
Go off.
Why?
Go off.
Why did I know that this was a vampire movie?
Thank you.
Why? Why did I know that?
Thank you.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Especially.
This is what sucks. This is what sucks about it is like, would $300 million be spent on this movie if people didn't know it was a vampire movie? Would it have made $60 million on opening weekend if people didn't know it was a vampire movie? Because if you just gave me a trailer that was like crazy fun party going into something happens, but you don't know what.
There's some menace.
And if I was in that seat and the vampire showed up, I would have been like, cinema, A++, cinema is back, baby. Like, I would have been so much more excited than I was. And so 100%. My definitely number one complaint is we need to stop spoiling movies with the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
Or AMC has to stop showing me trailers. One of the two things needs to happen.
It's one of the two. It's really just that people need to get better at making trailers. Overall. Like, we need to understand what a trailer should be. And a trailer should absolutely never be the majority of the plot of the film in short snippets. No. It should never be that. And I don't even think Sinners necessarily did that. It's just like, it should never reveal a plot twist. It should never, whatever. Captain America should never have had the Red Hulk in the trailer. Like, anything. No. Like, all of that kind of stuff just needs to stop happening. Like, trailers can be more cryptic and more of a vibe, And a lot of the time, like, people who love movies will still go see them, Because, there are definitely... Well, let's just stop for a second and say we had this exact conversation about Abigail last year, which I still I think
I will never forgive them. I will never forgive them for ruining the movie Abigail.
It would have been such an incredible experience to suddenly have that little ballet girl become a vampire and to not know that was what the movie was about. To just be like...
I would have stood and applauded.
Yeah.
Like, because an hour... You have to wait an hour into... And this movie, too, you have to wait, like, an hour into this movie before any vampire shit comes up. Mm-hmm. And if that woman walked into that room and all of a sudden, like, there's a vampire there and I didn't know it was coming, I would have been like, yes! Like...
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
go.
It would have been incredible. And the movie, more so than I think even Sinners, Abigail for sure is trying to set that up. You can absolutely create a trailer for Abigail that's like, here are these 6 people who are like down on their luck criminals, hired to kidnap this girl, not realizing that it is the daughter of a kingpin. And then you can just be like, and now they're trapped in this house, and something which we can assume something is coming to get them, which we can assume is like maybe it's the assassin of the kingpin. Like they are like deliberately saying this in the movie, like it's the kingpin. He sent somebody to fucking get us for doing this. Like we never should have been here. They have no idea that it's a vampire. Like the audience needs to be along for that ride. It's insane that we are sitting there for that long going, where are the vampires? You know? And to go back even a little bit further, because I think this movie absolutely takes some inspiration from Dusk Till Dawn, the Robert Rodriguez sort of Quentin Tarantino kind of movie from the 90s. And I will have some criticism of it in a little bit based on that can connect back to this. But that movie also has this like weird long setup of just like here's a weird family with Harvey Keitel and like one of the Arquettes, I think. I'm forgetting exactly who else is in that movie, but they just got kidnapped by these criminals and they're forcing them to drive them across the border in their trailer. And then like an hour plus into the movie, they stop at this like random like Mexican crazy cantina bar where they're supposed to meet the guy who's like going to help them out, the criminals, and it's full of vampires. And the rest of the movie is just vampires. And I had the pleasure of watching that on TV once with a group of people, and I was the only one who knew it was a vampire movie. And I didn't know that the rest of the people I was watching it with didn't know it was a vampire movie. So I was just like, from Dusk Till Dawn, awesome. Like, hell yeah, let's watch this movie. This is great. And they were all just sort of like bored. And then the vampires showed up, and they were just like, holy fuck, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. So I know how good it can be. I know how good it can be. If that's
okay. Now I say that all, and I really genuinely don't believe that this movie makes as much money as it did opening weekend if people didn't know it was a vampire movie. But we have to figure out a way to walk this line, to give people enough information to be like, oh, this is going to be cool, but not give everything away. We have to figure this out.
Yeah. Because it's just, you can't be like, in order to make money, we need to ruin the experience. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the exact, and you know what? I think in some ways it is like, it's just fear. There's a lot of fear in terms of people not wanting to lose money, and everything is so based on the first weekend's box office, and we put so much emphasis on like, did this movie bomb based on the first weekend and based on its budget? Like basically, did it make back the majority of its budget or a certain percentage of its budget in the first weekend? And if not, we're like, this movie bombed. But like, all you have to do for a film like this is be like, Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, sick movie about the blues in the South and the KKK. And then just let people go see it the first weekend, and then let word of mouth spread that like, dude, I'm not going to spoil it, but you have to go see this.
I would have been so interested if the trailer made the bad person, the KKK, made it look like that instead of vampires.
Yeah.
That would have been so interesting to walk into that movie thinking, and then have vampires show up and make me go, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I would have loved that experience. And it doesn't feel like it's that hard. I mean, basically what we're talking about is make it seem like it's Django Unchained with Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan instead of Quentin Tarantino being his weird self, you know? And
I would go see that movie.
I think a lot of people would go see that movie. I think a lot of people would.
I think black audiences would have come in droves to see that movie.
Immediately. For sure. Like, I saw Django Unchained the first weekend or two when it came out. It was a packed theater. I know it was a while ago when theaters were doing better. But, like, that's not a bad premise for a movie. And these are big names, you know? for
Yeah.
movies as they go now. Like, I think you could have
The
had a
creator of
respectable,
Black Panther,
a respectable
team
first
that brought
weekend.
you Creed, that brought you Black Panther, is
Right.
bringing you this.
Major
It's
hits.
like
Major hits. Like things that are cultural touchstones for across like all moviegoers for the most part, you know, like not just a like the black audience is coming out, but like everybody fucking loves these movies, you know.
Yeah.
I just I don't see why they couldn't have at least tried, you know, and just seeing like, hey, if we make 100 million in the first weekend, 50 million the first weekend, but then this thing stays in theaters for like a month and a half, and each weekend just like people are still showing up, that's also fine, and it's better for the experience overall.
The only argument against that is they were only going to be in IMAX and in Dolby for 2 weeks.
That's
because
Thunderbolts
was coming out.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I genuinely, I'm saying all this as a movie lover, as someone who goes to the movies. I'm sick of trailers ruining the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also just like backtracking and being like, I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
Like, because when you're on these feature formats for only so long, for only 2 weeks, you almost can't have the word of mouth wait for it because you're giving away so much money for every ticket that isn't in IMAX.
Right.
And so there has to be a middle ground. We have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe the amount of people who are like, who will watch a trailer, feel like they've seen the whole movie and then not go to the movie has to not be zero.
It's definitely not zero.
That has to not be zero.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I will say, to confirm that, there are actually, like, as someone who genuinely loves a romantic comedy, a good romantic comedy, every romantic comedy trailer is like the absolute best template of this sin. Like, every romantic comedy gives away the entire thing. And like, for the most part, because of that, I wait until they're on like VOD or on streaming. Just because I'm sort of like, I don't know, man. I've seen the movie and I kind of just want to wait until I kind of forgot most of the good moments that you showed me. And then I don't think it'll change the experience that much, you know, to just sort of watch it on my TV. And hopefully by then I'll have forgotten all the good jokes that you showed me in the trailer and all the moments that were like the absolute pivotal moments of them getting together or breaking apart, or like, will they, won't they, you know? But like, it's every romantic comedy does that. Every single one. And look, I get it. We know the general idea of what's going to happen in a romantic comedy. Like, we're not stupid. We know, but in the same way, you could be like, we know this in the vampire movie that the vampires aren't going to win. It would be a weird vampire movie, you know? Like,
well, it's maybe they kind of win a little bit.
Yeah, they do. Actually, that's true. That's true. To get into spoiler territory, they win a little bit.
Yeah,
they do. They do. All right. Anyway, we've got another task here. Should I go into what I don't like specifically?
Yeah. I want to hear what you thought. I wonder if I have 2 things about the movie that I did not love.
Okay. Okay.
And I wonder if we have some overlap.
Yeah, for sure. So I have basically 2 sort of like areas of critique that I want to go into. And the first one is I feel much stronger about. The second one is just sort of a like, I'm confused and I don't really know how I feel about it kind of thing. So the first one is, I think many directors, many people underestimate how hard it is to do horror, how hard it is to plot out a horror movie and do the pacing of horror. And I genuinely kind of think that like this movie for the first hour is so good. And then when he hits the like vampires are here section, he starts to kind of not know what to do. I feel like there's not that much, like, what I will say, to go back to where I think some inspiration came from, which is From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn is a 90-minute movie. The first hour is no vampires. The last half hour is like vampire frenzy. Because they kind of know in a singular location where people are trapped with vampires, there's not that much that can happen except for just like people kill vampires or vampires kill people, and like there's not like plot point wise you're not going to do a heck of a lot unless you get really really creative and you've set up some really interesting things like in the first part of the movie that can then come back in the second part of the movie. But like if it's just like action 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 action, it can't be a full extra hour plus of your movie. And that's the problem with Sinners to me.
You just hit on my number one complaint of this movie. My number one actual complaint of this movie. And it's the indigenous people.
I would love to talk about the indigenous people. I've done research on this. I'm ready. Let's go.
You have?
Yes. Go. You go for it, dude.
You set up these really interesting characters in this very tense scene.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason.
They never come back.
The whole time I'm like, I'm so ready for these. Like I know who's going to save the day, and it's this group of indigenous people. They're going to show up, and they're going to team up with the black people, and they're going to kill these vampires, and then they're going to kill some KKK members, and I'm here for it. I'm ready. And then they just never show up. So why even introduce them?
Right.
Why have that scene? What is the point?
And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I think that plot, if they added that plot point, would have fixed what you just said.
Exactly. I think there are many ways to fix what I just said. I think honestly, making the KKK not an ending scene, but including them earlier in the film in the vampire section could also fix what I just said. I think that's the biggest thing to me. Is like you have. To go, I want to talk about the Native American thing so bad, but give me 1 second. But just to talk about this plot thing, because I think it's basically like what is happening is when they are realizing that it's vampires, it's still awesome. It's still great. That scene, especially where the door guy comes back and they're like, "Don't let him in," is amazing. And then he grabs Michael B. Jordan. Genuine. I was watching this with my sister. She like curled up into a ball and screamed. Like it got her so bad. Like it was an incredible jump scare. Major
Great
props
scene.
for that.
Great
moment.
scene.
Incredible scene. All of that then becomes like, okay, they now know vampires exist. None of the vampires are in there with them, and all they have to do is just not leave and not invite the vampires in, and it's clear that they were sort of like, okay, how do we get around this? And the way they decide to is just by being like the, Chinese American woman, they basically like start threatening her daughter, and then she gets pissed off and in a strange character motivation moment basically screams, "Come in," and there's a big vampire brawl. And just as a quick aside, there's like 5 of those people there. And in that vampire brawl, a bunch of people die, but they are definitely not any of the characters that we see. Because all the people there are named characters, and you're just watching like vampires bite into people's necks, and I'm like, who is that dude? Like, he wasn't here before. Like, I don't know. That was weird. Anyway, like, that didn't make sense as a character motivation for me. Because this is like, she's trying to make sure that like her daughter is okay. And all of a sudden, and she knows her husband is already dead. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm going to kill all of us instead. Like, I'm going to kill all these vampires and invite them in just because I'm upset. And then she like stabs her husband and they both burn to death together. I was just like, I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't really like that plot point. But the major problem is that's a thing that even if you're like, it didn't bother me that much. You know what's way better? Having the KKK suddenly show up. And now they're unsafe inside and outside. And then you can do interesting stuff where, like, are the vampires teaming up with the, like, people inside the venue to kill the KKK first? Are they turning the KKK members? Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do to make that a new plot point that really opens up a lot of doors. But instead, it kind of just felt like they were like, we don't know. We got to get to the point where the vampires and the people are fighting. And then we'll deal with the KKK afterwards. And I just don't like it as much, I think it would be better.
My only other negative point is, why are the KKK showing up in the morning?
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't know anything about what happened last night.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
They hate that these people are opening a dance hall, whatever,
A juke joint.
a juke joint.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they showing up in the morning
Yeah.
when everyone would have been gone already?
Yeah. Like, do
Why aren't they showing up in the middle of the night?
And honestly, like that doesn't. Yeah, again, that doesn't make any sense. I didn't even think about that. If you're the KKK, you want to send a message that this isn't a place where black people can feel safe. You wouldn't do that by letting them have the best night of their lives and then just like killing Michael B. Jordan in the morning. You know, like I don't know. Like, yes, could that work?
Why would Michael B. Jordan still be there?
Yeah,
like
no one knows.
Like,
wait, why wouldn't he have gone
like,
home?
By 6 a.m., that dude's going home. Like,
yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
How many have you ever met a bartender who's like, all right, cool, gonna close up and then go to sleep right on this bar? Like, what?
At the
like,
bar.
What?
Yeah, that I own.
At the bar? Like,
yeah.
No, then go home.
It doesn't make that
it was my other
sense. Yeah. I totally agree. We're on the same page. We're on the same page here.
Yeah,
I think to me it's like the KKK section of the film felt a little tacked on. And it was crazy to me that they didn't just use that to essentially fix the issue with pacing that was in the horror vampire section. And just make it like, all right, now you got 3 people. Now it's kind of about how it's like not just. Well, honestly, I think this is the thing too. So I want to kind of get into the other thing that bothers me a little bit, because I think those are narrative sort of like plot structure things that I think are, to me, like less arguable critiques. Like, I think you can, if you are someone who also kind of felt like in some way the movie dragged a little bit, we're trying to like point out like this might be why you sort of felt like that in some way. And if you didn't, you didn't, you know, whatever. But like these are things that I think could have at least been better and made this movie that's like a B into like an A or like an A plus.
Yeah.
You know? But the thing that I just feel weird and conflicted on, I feel like the best illustration is what you brought up already with the Native American characters. Because basically, I think there's a lot of stuff in this movie that is really cool, like interesting, based in history commentary. Right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, there's so much. He packs so much in, and I genuinely like. I think it can be really messy, and I'm back and forth on whether I like the messiness of it or whether I think it kind of just doesn't work. And that's hard for me. So like basically, some of the research I did in particular was like, I was like, what. Like, why is this lead character Irish? Or the lead villain, the lead vampire, Irish? You know? Because that feels like a very specific choice. And I think there can certainly be, like, some... Like, it's clear that there are a lot of, like, parallels in like, the oppression of the Irish and the oppression of, like, of slaves, of the enslaved and, like, African Americans. And all of that is definitely worth, like, exploring. But, like... Okay... But you're now also saying the Irish are vampires. And, you know, in this particular, the only Irish character really is a vampire. So, like, we're doing something that I'm not really sure how to figure out what, like, the meaning of the particular scene is. And I feel like the best example is the Native American scene. Because the history, actually, of the Choctaw people and the Irish people is one of, like, a kindred spirit friendship, actually. This is some of the research I did pointed me to this actually like really cool article that was like basically pretty soon after the Trail of Tears, the Irish potato famine was happening, and the Choctaw people like kind of recognized that like the Irish people were also being oppressed in much the same way that they were. And they raised like $5,000 in like today's money and sent it to aid people in Ireland during the potato famine. And people in Ireland figured out where the aid came from. And like Irish prime ministers have like come and visited the Choctaw Nation and been like, we are joined in like our mutual struggle. Like, they have a very friendly relationship, actually. Like, they both see each other as, like, we basically are victims of the British and, you know, the Americans, essentially, right? Like
Yeah.
that is their connection. So while I understand the idea of like it's cool to be like the Choctaw is here and here's an Irish guy, why are they chasing him like to KKK members' house? Because the two people he turns initially turn out to be KKK members, I think. Like, why are they chasing him out of their village like he's evil? If this historical background to them is actually that they're like friendly to each other and that they're like kindred spirits.
So
Like it doesn't. To me, I'm just sort of like, okay, I get the idea of like, in general, there's a lot of stuff where Native American people are like more spiritually attuned, and there's a lot of this in movies. You know, it's just sort of a general like sort of cliche thing of like they see the evil before the white man sees the evil and they try to warn him, you know. But like in this specific historical context, it just doesn't work to me, and it just sort of makes me go like, I don't really understand what you're saying anymore, especially when those characters never come back.
yeah. So I agree with you on the Choctaw point. 100%. I disagree with you on the making him Irish point. And there are two very specific reasons why.
Yeah.
Number one, so this is a guy who can't go home. And as a vampire, what is this character's motivation? And I think this movie did his character's motivation better than any vampire monster movie, whatever I've ever seen. Now, and this is one of the things I really liked about it. He's trying to make a home for himself.
I don't actually disagree with this at all, but I love this. I love this point. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah. He's trying to make a home for himself in this new world, in this new place. Right? And the way he can do that as a vampire is by making more vampires. Right. This completely makes sense to me. And I really enjoy that part of it. I think also part of the decision to make them Irish is that compared to other European settlers, Irish folk songs, Irish dance, Irish, all of this stuff has roots, has created roots in America. And they wanted to have, for lack of a better term, the Irish party scene, the vampire party scene.
Yeah.
So I get why they made them an immigrant. Like I get why they made the key vampire an immigrant. I get why they made them Irish, both in a historical context as well as in a let's make a good movie context. Yeah. I just don't understand why you give the indigenous people, the Choctaw people, 5 seconds a movie and then why are they even introduced?
Right.
You could have even cut that whole scene and just been like this woman finding her husband dead. Yeah. Like that's all you really needed, and I don't understand why that was important.
Yeah. Except for to kind of say, well, okay, so the only thing I do like about that scene, just like in a vacuum is I like people who on the outside look different, like are obviously racially different, ethnically different, the Native American people coming to these white people and being like, the white person you just let in is a monster, and them being like, no, essentially like, I'm pointing a gun at you and you need to get out of here. I like that as a general thing of just like a commentary on like, you are more likely to let in this person who you think looks like you, even if they are actually the evil, and you shouldn't immediately, be turning away these people who are just trying to protect you, that kind of thing. But again, it's like those characters need to come back, man. They gotta come back at some point. It's like you can't just, and more so than in just the sort of sequence, which we'll get to in the positives part of this, of like the music dance sequence of like it basically tearing time and apart, which is honestly incredible cinema. You know, but like to stay with the negatives. But what do you? Sorry, no. You go ahead. Let's talk about it now. Actually,
yeah. Let's talk about the positives. Let's talk about the positives.
Let's talk about
the first hour of this movie. A+.
100%.
A+. And they created they I don't always love Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
However, Ryan Coogler taps into all of the things that Michael B. Jordan is so good at. The facial expressions, the kind of like little over the top. And he created this, this over the top character in terms of I don't what are their names? I'm blanking on the two characters' names.
It's Smoke and it's not Smoke and
Suit?
Stack, I don't think. Oh boy, I'll look it up while you continue here.
Especially with Smoke, like him being so over the top, great facial expressions. They did such a good job of creating a party that I actually want to go to, which so many party movies fail at that. They create a party that sucks. That's so bad. That you just like, you're watching this movie feeling like you're the only sober person around a bunch of super annoying people at this party. And they made a party that I'm like so happy to be at. I'm going to say, I did think the time and space idea a little corny.
You thought it was a little corny?
Oh, I thought it was a little corny.
I loved it. I thought it was like the best scene
I
of the
wanted
whole
to talk
movie.
to you about it as a musician.
I thought it was so good. Oh, yeah, no. So, yes, as a musician, I have to say, like, that part was, like, because they set it up, too. They've got the setup at the beginning of the movie where they're talking about, there's some line about, like, there's some music, like, there's some art that is so pure that it basically, like, transcends time and space. Like, it rips apart the scene between, like, the past and the present. And then to illustrate that in such an awesome way of, like, here is this song that it's not just being portrayed to you as like, here is an audience getting down to like this incredible blues thing, but like it is tapping into a like healing moment that like music and art can like express for all people, like for people who are particularly oppressed, there is a way in which like this moment of music can provide this like spiritual healing to you and provide sort of at the very least like the distraction and let you feel free for like 3 to 4 minutes. I thought it was an amazing way to to sort of like illustrate that on screen, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I had no notes on that scene, to be honest. I was like, that was the one thing that I watched where I was like, this is cinema. Like I was watching it on an IMAX screen and I was like, this looks sick as hell. This is like the promise of the premise right here. I'm so into this. And I love that is also the moment where the vampires show up. I thought that was all cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing though. Like that's what they're saying. Like this guy who, like you said, is Irish and is basically looking for his home, sees this, and he's like, these people can be my home,
Yeah.
And it's because he is also this musician, and he basically like hears this siren call of music, and he relates to it. He's not like this is bad music, and you should play my music or something. Although that gets a little confused later.
He wants to join the party.
He wants to
join the party and bring and bring his own background and appreciation to the party. He doesn't want to take over. He wants to like he wants to be in the musical sense. Obviously he was going to make them all vampires.
Right.
But in the musical sense, he showed up and he was like, I want to be an addition to this party. I don't want to take over.
Yeah.
I want to be here.
And I
did think that part was really good.
That part, and I just want to say before you get into what you maybe didn't like about that scene, but like I think that in particular is something that like feels a little confusing again, having him also be the vampire. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's messy in a way that like I can't tell if I appreciate the messiness or if I think it muddles the message a little bit, you know? Because it's like I think we can interpret him as being genuinely like here are these, and Brian Coogler even kind of said this in an interview. He was like, my first name is Irish, and like I've loved Irish music, and like I wanted this to be like a representation of like here are two cultures that like refused to be um basically like integrated into like they were like we are keeping our culture, we are
Yeah.
keeping
Yeah. Yeah.
this like Irish folk songs are staying, we are not Americanizing them, this is not going to be a melting pot situation, like we are keeping these individual elements of our culture, and like he wanted that to be part of this movie, which is awesome. Like I love it. I love that it's like, and that they both kind of feel like they exist in the same way of like giving some culture and some freedom that you can hang on to from your homeland, and the scene of like all the people who have been turned into vampires doing like a perfect Irish jig is like cool.
and and and
And
and even having that moment be
mm,
like, so you went from this one party that was absolutely amazing and that I really wanted to be a part of, and then you created this completely separate party that I still wanted to go to.
right,
I was
it's
sitting there
still
being
kind
like,
of a
this
sick
looks
party.
super fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
like this
like
is
that's the appeal that he's trying. He's not trying to be like, hey, like I'm gonna take over, kind of, but like he's like, this is like you can be powerful and basically just like shun all of society and become like a monster with me, and we can have this sick party over here, and you can just be like free,
yeah.
you know, from the feeling of ever like trying to not be a sinner. Like you can be true sinners all the time,
Yeah.
you know. But even that, I'm like, that's a little bit of a muddled message because he's a vampire and he's evil, and like to have, if it was felt more clear that he was like, we're just turning you, we are just like, and it is true that like no one dies, like the vampires don't just like drain anybody of their blood and kill them in this movie, they turn everyone, you know. And that's generally like vampires can do one of the two things, they can use us as like meat bags, blood bags, or they can turn, you know. And this movie specifically was like nobody's not getting turned, everybody's a vampire. But then you still have things in it like the actress who I'm forgetting her name, Haley Steinfeld, saying we're gonna kill every last one of you, and you're like, but that's not what you're doing. And I don't think that's the villain's motivation. The villain's motivation is like, I want you to be me. Like, I want you to join me and be my home and my community. Like, I want to be accepted. And I'm literally going to make you accept me by showing you that, like, I can throw just as good of a party, kind of, as you can. And, like,
Yeah.
let's party together, kind of. And I don't know. I'm just so I go back and forth between like I love it and also I'm not that sure. And again, I think this can be fixed by having the mutual enemy come when the
Yeah.
vampires are
Yeah.
still there. I think this is genuinely fixed by being like, and now the KKK is here, and they're the real enemy of both of these people, both of these
Yeah.
groups, and we're gonna
Yep.
fuck them up together,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
even have a cool commentary of like the KKK show up and like Michael B. Jordan and his group like just want to kill the KKK, and the vampires are like, no, I'm gonna turn the KKK into me, like I'm gonna like integrate the KKK into my version of whiteness or whatever, like there's
Yeah.
interesting commentary you can make in that respect depending on what you choose to do with it. And I just think not doing that at all and instead being like the black people need to kill the vampires and then kill the KKK makes it feel like they are similar enemies. But then sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I think it's more complicated than that. I think he does do a good job of
Yeah.
like during it, I keep going back and forth where I'm like, sometimes I feel like the metaphor works, the subtext works, and sometimes in certain moments I don't think it does. And
Yeah,
I have a hard time with it. And this could definitely be something where if I watch it again, I could go like, I get it more than I did the first time. I get where he's going with certain scenes or certain moments, character moments, more than I did the first time. But it's just like it's a complicated history, and there's not like an easy point necessarily to make, and so there is part of me that really appreciates that he doesn't make the easy point. But then we get back to something like the
yeah,
Choctaw, where I'm like, I don't think the point makes sense actually. you know, so it's
yeah.
I'm all over the place with it in terms of my critique in that one respect. But there's a lot to love. There's a lot to love
Oh,
about.
there is a lot more to love than Day. And like another thing I loved, I think I officially will watch Haley Steinfeld and Michael B. Jordan in any movie.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
I loved their chemistry. Their chemistry, they were so good together. I also loved the chemistry between uh, Jedediah. Right? Was it Jedediah who was the blues player?
Oh yeah, yeah. The blues player. I think it was Jedediah. Oh no, it was Sammy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sammy wasn't his name.
Oh, you're right. Jedediah was his dad,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
You're
sounds
right.
right.
Sammy played by Miles Caton,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
absolutely incredible in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and his his chemistry with his love interest was off the chain.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
like I don't know if it was great acting, great directing, great casting, or all of the above, but all like you the chemistry between all of these characters was so palpable and so good
Mm-hmm.
that that completely hooked you in. It completely hooked you in from the first moment you started watching this movie, until and it's what makes, I think, a huge part of what makes the first hours so great was that chemistry, um
Oh yeah,
and made it honestly better than when the vampire showed up.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, like Delroy Lindo, awesome character. Um, I had to look up the actress's name here, but Michael B. Jordan's like love interest slash maybe former wife. It's a little unclear. Annie Wunmi Masaku. I'm not sure exactly if I'm saying it right, so apologies. But she was incredible. Like they were both they were both awesome. They had incredible chemistry. Um, uh, you know, I wish I did say in that scene where they initially sort of meet and they're in the shop and a child just leaves the shop and then they're like making love in the shop. I'm like, hey man, maybe lock the doors in case another kid comes in. But but that's beside the point. It was an incredible scene, incredibly well acted. Um, and yeah, no, like I think basically like in terms of a lot of the scripting, in terms of direction, except for again, I just have some complaints with the horror direction kind of part of it. I think it is like that might be script, that might be direction sometimes, but it just drags a little bit in that section. There's so much that's really good, and I do want to say just as a small like point on like the horror direction thing. There is a moment that is clearly like a horror reference, where it is basically they're testing the people that are still left in the juke joint to see if anybody's a vampire, and they all have to eat some garlic, right? And like
Yeah,
this is like a very famous scene from 1982's The Thing. Does this where they are trying to figure out if anybody has like become the thing, basically, and they're like testing people's blood because they realize the thing is an organism where every single part of it will try and defend itself. So they're like basically taking like a hot needle to like blood samples from everyone to see if it tries to like attack, basically, if they heat the blood sample. And it's an incredibly tense, like classic scene where you're going around and around, and just at the last second when you think basically like they're going to figure out who it is, and it is who you expected. It turns out to be some other person, and they like attack, and it's crazy. And they're clearly doing like a reference to this with the garlic scene, because they're all standing around in a circle in the same way, and they have this moment where it's like Delroy Lindo's character, who like you don't have any reason to suspect, suddenly starts to like react to the garlic in a weird way, and then he's just like, no man, I'm just drunk, and that like made me want to throw up or whatever. And it's kind of like, it's kind of funny, but it's just directed really poorly and in a way where there's no tension the entire time. Like I didn't feel for a second during that scene that anybody was going to turn out to be a vampire, you know, like I didn't believe it at any point.
I didn't either. I didn't
that's
either,
an issue,
but it was
you know,
because of how strong the inviting in has to be in this.
Yeah, exactly.
In this movie,
like they didn't make it feel like there was any reason to suspect anybody. And like, if you're gonna do a whole long scene where you're like referencing one of the most tense horror scenes maybe ever filmed, like you can't just like not set it up and then not bother directing it in a way that feels tense, you know, like in any way. Like it felt like a weird like joke version that they kind of just threw in. And like, I don't know. I was sort of like, I feel at that moment, I was like, I feel like you don't know what to do with these characters right now. You know? I think
that because I've never seen this movie.
Yeah. I know I've never seen this not me as the major horror nerd. I know that I will never recommend you watch The Thing 1982, even though it is a classic. Like, it is just not your type of movie. I don't think you'll enjoy it.
And so, but not watching that scene, like not knowing the before and just watching that scene and I just expected it to be a joke. I expected there to be a laugh at the end, and it got me. I laughed. I thought it was kind of clever and funny.
So,
but I could see why,
you know,
why knowing that back part then makes you disappointed in what's being shown to you right now.
In the sort of execution of like, this is supposed to be an homage of some kind, I think, but we're not doing it. You know, we're not nailing it. But we got to go back, man. What do you not like about the musical montage kind of scene?
It was just, this feels corny to me. It wasn't the movie making. It wasn't the it wasn't, and it's like one of the things that like I thought about it in the movie theater, and I just kind of stopped thinking about it, you know? But everyone else is bringing it up as their favorite scene. I think it's funny that I just think it's kind of corny. Like, that's it. That's my whole argument. Especially if all they had to do for the movie was like space. It doesn't like why are we bringing like we're healing because of this one song. We're healing something from like Japan from the Middle Ages. Like what? Like come on.
I'm like, that's just supposed to be like, it's not just this one song. It's the power of like the artistic expression of music within all these cultures has the same vibe. Like it's all tapping into this same, which now even as I'm saying it, it's hard not to make it sound corny. Like it's tapping into this same like spiritual vibration, man, that like connects all people in music and art and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, I'm like, I love that. I'm a big believer in that kind of thing, you know, that kind of like a spiritual healing power that art can have. But like it is definitely hard to talk about without being like, I don't know, man, do you want a tarot card reading now? Like, what are we going to do after this? It's a little hard. It's a little hard not to feel corny about it.
And you can even say like, you can, I think there's a certain amount of like, that you can say of like, this song brought healing and it extends beyond this room and it calls other people to want to be a part of it. And like all of that made sense to me. And the second they flash to like
Like a Native
to like
American person.
Asian.
Yeah,
Like no,
to the
I was
samurai.
gonna go with Asian people from like the Middle Ages. I was like, okay,
I
like
don't actually have any disagreement with this, to be totally honest with you. Like I think the scene kind of can hit and not hit depending on who you are. And I actually also think there's an argument for like this scene might hit better if it's just about the history of like the blues. You know, if it's just like flash
yeah,
forward to, you know, like the 1930s, you know, flash forward to you know, well wait, actually what time period is this movie set in now? I'm realizing, was it the
I
1930s?
think it's
It's
I
earlier,
was gonna
right? It's before the Great
guess
Depression.
20s.
It's Prohibition time, so I think
It's Prohibition era, so it's
yeah,
sometime between World War One, World War Two, so
yeah.
20s somewhere
So
in
like
there.
flash forward to the 30s, flash forward to the 60s, to, you know, whatever. Like yeah, you can go even like
Like
the
you could like
even
it's like
going
this is the
into,
beginning.
yeah, it's like this is the beginning, and like look at these like incredible performances that are being done. You can go into jazz, you can go into a whole bunch of things that kind of stemmed from the blues, rock and roll, you know, more so than jazz certainly. But like yeah, like there's definitely ways in which you could be like, here's the history of music that feel a little bit more specific, rather than being like, here's a b-boy and here's a, you know, here's a Choctaw Indian doing their dance and here's a samurai. Like I get that. As a critique, I get that. I think it could actually be like a little more cohesive if it was like, not only is this like important to these people in this aspect, but like y'all need to understand the history of the blues and understand how
Yeah.
important it is
Yes.
to music. Just every piece of music that you see and that comes from black culture sort of stems
Yes.
initially from where the blues is and where the blues stems from. So like that, I think yes, that could potentially be more powerful. Also, though, this is sort of like being a music nerd and, you know, like wanting something very specific to my interests. You know? So I don't know. It's not a huge deal
Everything
to me.
everyone seems to disagree with me on this,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
not even saying I'm right.
But it's how you
Like,
felt. It's not about
but
being
it's how I
right.
felt.
It's not
It's
about
how I
being right.
felt. It's how I felt.
It's just how you
We're all
perceived
gonna
it.
walk into a movie. Yeah,
And it's the same thing, honestly, with like me watching the scene that's the reference to the thing, where it's like I'm coming in with my own very specific background knowledge and like feelings about a thing that you are referencing, and I'm now
yeah.
judging it against that. And for you,
And I
you're
think
like, that scene was worth a laugh. I don't see why you wouldn't have that scene. That's fun. And for me, I'm like,
yeah,
no, you lost me. You know, I'm not
yeah.
with you anymore. I think you don't know what you're doing now because you messed up the
And
directing on this scene.
I think I was loving that party so much,
Mm-hmm.
and loving being a part of that party so much that took me out of the party,
Yeah,
and I was kind of salty about it.
yeah. I mean, okay, I get it. I kind of get it. You know, as a critique, I'm not. I'm not with you. I'm not with you. I loved it.
No, I don't. I don't expect it.
But I
I think I
understand
am.
your perspective on it. You know,
I think
I
I
get
am
how you
the
feel about
vast minority on this, because everyone I've talked to about this, everything I've heard, they love that scene.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's
Just, I don't know.
visually, it's sick. I mean, it's
Visually,
awesome.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Visually, it's beautiful. Yeah.
So let's talk. Like, what I want to talk about, maybe to sort of wrap this up a little bit too. It's just like I also do, again, in terms of like the sort of messiness of this stuff a little bit, which I'm not sure is necessarily a negative thing. It's just sort of a thing to note about this movie in general. It's like you have that scene and you have the setup for that scene that are basically being like, music, this music is like so pure and powerful and like represents freedom. But you also kind of have the Michael B. Jordan character being like, if I see you continue down this path, to Sammy, the musician character, like, if I see you continue down this path, like, I'll kill you myself. Like, you should go just like be a preacher or something. You shouldn't be in this world because like this is the world of sinners, essentially. You know, like, and that's just sort of an interesting thing of like, the music on itself can be pure and can be good, but also it sort of exists within this world of sin, and that's an interesting sort of like dichotomy to have, but within that, I don't know how to interpret the last scene of the film. The like literal, I think it's post credits. You know, the like,
Oh yeah, it's
the
post
like,
credits. Yeah.
is it BB King? It's a famous blues musician. I'm totally blacking out. I don't think it's
It's
BB King.
no, BB King passed away. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It's
Buddy Guy. It's Buddy Guy.
No, but there it is. There it is. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So you have Buddy Guy playing a place. I'm presuming it seems like from Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld's outfits that this is maybe the '80s now or like the '90s. I don't really know.
It's either the '80s or it's I would guess late '80s, early '90s Chicago.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And you have them come visit him. And like clearly he's not listened to Michael B. Jordan's advice. Like he has continued to be a blues musician and has hung on to this guitar and has hung on to the power of it. And you kind of have these vampires showing up being like, yeah, man, you're cool, you know, or something. And I'm kind of just like, and like you sort of alluded to at the beginning, it's like the vampires kind of win because they don't all die because of these two characters like living on and just seeming to be like they're definitely still killing people. They have to survive. But also they just seem chill. And now Buddy Guy's friends with the vampires or something. And I'm like, I don't know what's being said anymore, to be totally honest with you. I don't really, you know, but like maybe it is just sort of like the vampires were never the bad guy, but also like, but they're the vampires, right? Like, can we stop for a second and be like, they kill people to survive for sure, right? Like we're not just, I don't know. I'm just, I was not like, I didn't watch that final credit scene and be like, sick. I was just like, I have more questions now. I don't know. I'm leaving.
I think it was a nice wrap up on the movie because the movie itself was about freedom and like, but it was also about like these characters and especially between Smoke and Stack and Sammy. Like they're family.
Yeah.
Like they are family. They are cousins. They grew up together. And it did feel like almost like an older brother checking in on a younger brother. Like that's what it felt like to me because I think it was trying to show, I think this whole movie was trying to show a little bit of like, just because these people become vampires, they don't lose all of their humanity, which I think is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool.
That's not, I mean, that's true. That's true. I'm kind of commenting on stuff that's happening that I presume has to happen off screen, just understanding what a vampire is. So like, that's hard to get over for me. But you were right. Within the context of the film, you don't see them do anything but turn people, essentially.
Yeah.
So, you know, honestly, that's fair. I get it. It's just, to me, this also kind of delves again back into the kind of like, the vampire is a little bit of a messy metaphor for this film.
Yeah.
It's a little bit messy.
I completely agree.
You know, and I'm not totally sure it always works. I think there are aspects of it that if you're just like, I'm just going to focus on this, like we just did with that last scene of like, I'm just going to focus on purely what this film has shown me, which is that like, these aren't necessarily like bad guys. Although, I mean, it kind of seems like they might be.
No, but I think like
they still have to die. They still are trying to kill. Like in some ways, they're trying to make people undead. I don't know. I genuinely feel like it's so messy. I can't get my thoughts straight on what I like and what I don't. You know, in terms of just the vampire specific content and like metaphor. You know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue and say that like I don't think it's messy. I think it's a little messy, but I also think life is messy, and I do think some of the at least some of the messiness is purposeful.
Yeah,
because he's trying to create like Ryan Coogler. I don't know if he wrote it or not, but Ryan Coogler took this story and is trying to connect a fun vampire story with the history of racism and segregation and all of these things.
Yeah.
And
This is
there's no way to do that
he
clean.
wrote it for sure. Yeah.
He wrote it? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's just no way to do that cleanly. Like it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I'm more okay with that messiness than you are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. I think for me to love a film sometimes I don't, especially a genre film, I don't think I appreciate the messiness as much. But I hear what you're saying. I think you're right. In a lot of ways. I think it is sort of like this is more representative in a way because it is messy. And really what we're sort of arguing about in some ways is like artistic intent. Like did he intend this to be this, or is this just how it's coming off and it's sort of unintentionally messy? Or is it supposed to be messy? And it's really hard to know. And we'll never really know unless he comes out on a commentary track or something in the film and is very explicit about everything. But from what I've heard, it is just sort of like he was thoughtful about, what he included and what he didn't include. And wanting there to be specific, like, Irish folklore elements and wanting there to be specific, like, Native American representation for the one scene, which I'm almost like, is there a deleted scene? Are we gonna get the DVD?
I feel like there has to be.
The Native American people come like at the end and just find all the dead bodies and are like, fuck, or something. I don't know. Like, what are we missing?
I was expecting that to be the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I was expecting that to be because they're still hunting the vampires. It would lead them to this place.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just look around and go, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of expected that to be a post-credit scene, almost as if setting up a sequel.
Yeah.
Specifically following the Choctaw people.
Actually, that would be
but it never came.
That would have been, I'd also watch the hell out of that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a good place to end, though. That's a good place to end the discussion.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Being like, I think.
Oh, I was about to be like, I need to go at 3.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I think it's absolutely like, I think you're right. There's there's messiness, and maybe the point of the movie is you got to embrace that. Embrace that. Like all of this history is messy. And yeah, overall, I would never not recommend Sinners. Like, if people are like, should I watch Sinners? I would be like, dude, yeah.
Yes.
You should go see it.
Absolutely.
You should go see it. Like, I think there are things that we can discuss about it that are like, could be improved or could be maybe a little bit, tweaked. And my personal opinion, as you well know, and as anyone who listens to this podcast will come to know, is that every movie is a little bit too long nowadays. And I want like 15 minutes to 30 minutes edited off of every single film that I watch.
You do feel that way. Yes.
I very much feel that way.
If you don't say a movie's too long, I have questions.
Yeah. Well, if I don't, it's because it's like 80 minutes to 90 minutes long. And even in that case,
no fat.
Even in that case, I might still have a scene that I think could be cut. But yeah, Sinners. B. I'm going to stick with my B. Again, I'm going to give it a B. You might have talked me into a B plus. I'll see how I feel after I let our conversation settle.
I think I'm staying. I think I'm going to go. I'll go B plus.
Yeah.
I feel it is right on that B plus A minus range for me.
Yeah.
And I think it just doesn't quite hit the A minus for me, but like a solid, really good B plus.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for Alec and Dave Talk About Shit, episode 1, which is definitely just Alec and Dave Talk About Movies. So maybe that should be the title.
I'm gonna bring comic books into this. I'm gonna bring whatever I want into this.
Well, then never mind.
We're gonna talk about shit.
Right.
It's not just
movies. This is true. Episode 2 appears to just be about Ben Affleck in the Criterion Closet, from what we've talked about. Yeah. So
this is about whatever the hell we want to talk about. This isn't just about movies.
That's true. It's just that we love movies. All right. Well, here's the part where we're going to play everyone out with a fake ad that we've made. And, that's not going to happen this episode, actually. So just goodbye, everybody. You want to say goodbye, Dave?
Bye.
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 Bye.